Hello everyone, welcome back to Lucky Crit. Sorry it's been a little while without the typical level of content that I've been trying to maintain on the channel. Been pretty busy lately with some side stuff, some contract gigs that I'm super fortunate to have, but it's kind of tying me down and sidetracking me and not allowing me to make the content that I wanted to make. But welcome to what is probably the beginning of the fourth year or fourth season of Lucky Crit content. This is just after the third anniversary that we celebrated a couple weeks ago. In this video, I wanted to talk about Anime North and some of the prep that I'm kind of undergoing to prepare for Anime North. We are about, it's almost exactly a month, to be honest. Very, very close. A month and a week away from Anime North 2019, which I will be attending with a bunch of other Fire Emblem YouTubers. If you're not aware of that, you can check out that video up here for that information. So if you are interested in attending, be sure to grab your ticket as soon as you can. All that good stuff. Unfortunately, at this time, we don't have any new news about the event, like when the panel will be or anything like that. So all of that information will have to come in a future video update for Anime North. That'll be a separate video from today's episode. Today, I just wanted to focus on some of the main things that I've been doing to prepare for Anime North. Which... Is that a smudge on my lens? Holy... Was that always supposed to look like that? Holy crap. Okay. Is that better? No? Anyway, just pulling your leg. I actually bought a brand new camera in preparation for Anime North 2019. It's been something that I've been looking to do for a long time. I was actually heavily considering the Sony Alpha 7 R3, which is a phenomenal camera in its own right, but even just buying the body of that camera is about $2,000. Any lens on top of that, it's going to be at least another $1,000. So it's like a $3,000 investment. And it kind of had some stuff that I just wasn't really ever going to use. And so the more economical route for me was actually to pick up the Sony a6400. This camera is a little hotly debated online. Some people don't like it. Some people think it's got some stupid stuff about it. But when it comes down to it, I weighed all the pros and cons and everything. And ultimately, I decided that this was the fit for me. And I think it's going to really help me out, especially with Anime North vlogging. Now, I've never been much of a vlog person, and I actually think it's kind of awkward to be, going around and putting this in people's faces and stuff. But I really do want to produce some cool content from Anime North while I'm there, get some good footage of everybody all together. So it's probably going to have to be something that I practice and get used to by the time I'm there. But this is the kind of the setup that I was thinking about. It does have the best feature on this camera, aside from the fact that it's obviously higher quality, is the fact that this screen flips out. So I can actually, if I turn this on, I can actually see when the camera is recording, which is one of the biggest drawbacks, I think, of the current camera that I'm using right now, which is the Nikon D3200. This camera has served me incredibly well. To be honest with you, it could still serve me well in the coming days. I don't necessarily need a huge HD quality boost or anything like that specifically, but there are some limitations of this camera that I've kind of outgrown as a creator, and they kind of just stand to inhibit and prevent me from doing certain things that I'd like to do, and they make other things harder. So for example, the fact that I can't tell when it's recording is kind of not good, because on this particular camera, it has about 20 minutes of record time, which means that while I'm recording, since usually I record in half an hour, hour chunks sometimes, depending upon the video, I don't know when it stops. And I can kind of time myself, but when it comes down to it, most of the time, especially if it overheats, if it's in the summer, it can stop anywhere from 15 minutes, 16 minutes. It doesn't even matter. So sometimes I've lost really good chunks of stuff, which is annoying. And so because there's no little red dot or anything, I just can't tell that it's actually doing anything at all, unless I physically hear it turn off, which only happens when the battery dies, which is another problem in and of itself. Aside from that, the 20-minute record limit, also not that great. Thankfully, this camera, not gonna have to worry about that either. But at the end of the day, it's a pretty great camera. It's actually my girlfriend's. She's let me borrow it and use it for the past 3 years for this channel, which is really amazing. Shout out to her. It's been a great camera. It served me very well. But when it comes down to it, I just figured, why not have a little something for out there? And also, the rolling shutter's pretty darn bad with this camera because it is a typical DSLR. It's a DSLR with the capabilities of shooting video without it being a video camera. So it's kind of like, you know, not quite that advanced when it comes to that. If I just have the camera stationary, like sitting here right now, it's perfectly fine. Everything's good. Oh, and also the other thing that is kind of not that great is I have to manually set the focus of this camera every single time, which is why if you've watched enough Lucky Crit videos, you've probably found one here or there where I'm just like slightly out of focus, which is the most annoying thing in the world as a content creator, to film something that you think is actually like quite good, or like that take was good, and then you review the footage and you realize that the entire time you've just been like slightly out of focus. Oh my God, it's such a nightmare. I don't like that. And the reason why I have to do that is because since it's a DSLR, the lens makes a lot of noise as it autofocuses, which means that if I actually just had that thing on autofocus the entire time, all you would hear is like every 10 seconds a constant autofocus sound, which is not good. So this thing, not going to have those issues, thankfully. The rolling shutter on this camera is also kind of an issue, but I think it's more of an issue in the 4K mode, which this camera can do. I haven't fully decided if I want to commit to doing 4K at this point in time for YouTube. It's going to be a lot more strain on my system here, and I could use a couple more system upgrades too. We'll get into that, but I think for the time being, I'm going to use this 4K camera to continue doing 1080p. I know that probably makes no sense, but the fact that it's 4K, it at least downscales to 1080p, so it should be better 1080p than the 1080p that you're used to seeing, if that makes any sense. So hopefully you'll see some sort of an improvement. I'm kind of excited to use it and play around with it. It's a little bit confusing with the menus. That's how Sony cameras tend to be. And at the very least, if I decide to ever upgrade to a full frame camera, because this is what APS-C, I think, lenses is what this uses. I've heard a lot of good reviews that it's also an extremely good B-roll camera, or like a secondary camera. So in the future, if I ever decide to upgrade to something else that does use full frame lenses, this guy will still be a good secondary backup camera. So I'm pretty stoked about that. You can see I have the vlogger rig here with the extra mic. Now the reason why this can't go in the hot shoe up here is because of one of the complaints that people have had about this camera, in that the hot shoe is right in front of the screen. So if you wanted an external mic, ordinarily you would block the screen, which is kind of dumb, and it's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't like this camera. But as you can see, all it took is a simple little workaround. All it needed was an extra little bar here to go underneath as part of this whole tripod assembly, and it's voila, it's good. All good here. So I'm kind of excited to use it, and I'll try to record as much as I can for Anime North. I don't know if that's going to be kind of awkward walking around the convention center with this thing, but I'm going to have to get used to it pretty quick, I think. And my goal is to make the best content that I can from Anime North, considering it's going to be a huge trip. The first trip that I've ever done as part of Lucky Crit, as the entity of Lucky Crit. So I think it's going to be really, really cool, and I'm excited to film as much as I can. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, aside from that too, editing on this computer has been good. I built this PC in, I believe it was late 2015. So it's still holding up very well, but there are certain things that are kind of not so great. I've been running out of RAM a lot lately, so actually downloaded some more RAM, and we're going to put this into the computer. Hopefully that issue will clear up a little bit. I think ultimately, though, if I really want to see better performance, I'm just going to have to buy a brand new CPU at some point and a brand new motherboard. Right now, I am running I think it's a 5820K, if I'm not mistaken, on the X99 platform. So it has held up fairly well, but those are some of the weaker components, I'd say, of this computer. I do have a 980 Ti as my graphics card. So ultimately, I think I'm going to have another couple upgrades here or there sometime in the future. And I don't think that at the current moment I could actually feasibly edit 4K unless it was just like a video with me sitting here in front of you like this. But when it comes to like chopping up videos and doing my typical kind of content, I don't think that 4K is feasible right now for me, considering I do have moments on this computer where it's kind of chugging along with just 1080p stuff, depending upon how many tracks I have running and all that kind of stuff. So I know that probably doesn't make any sense to you if you're not a content creator, but for those of you that are, you'll hopefully understand what I mean. Anyway, lots of prep happening here for Anime North. Got some new cool toys to play with in the coming days. I've been trying to eat healthier and work out a bit more too. It's been something that I'm trying to get back to a weight that I was a couple years ago. Being a content creator is very difficult when it comes to most things, because most of the time you just end up living a pretty sedentary lifestyle, sitting here in front of the computer, editing, working on stuff. It's pretty tough unless you force yourself to walk and work out and, watch what you eat, all that kind of stuff. But even just since, 2016, when this channel started, I had gained a good, like, I don't even know, probably about 20 something, 25 pounds maybe. And that was also compounded by the fact that I had the full-time 9 to 5 last year, you know, and I would eat out for lunch and stuff, even though it wasn't the worst places I was going to. It's still, you know, eating out, still fast food-ish. So hopefully that's going to get better at this point in time. I know Mangs and Gast are taking their gains pretty seriously and kind of shaping up that particular part of Anime North to be kind of a competition, because we do want to go to the gym at some point in time and make some content there. So I think they're trying to one-up each other. I don't know if I'm going to be a huge part of that. I do have a weight bench here that I've been using myself, but I'm not going that hard. I'm trying to take it kind of easy, kind of a normal level. And to me, I was just more looking forward to having Gast, the personal trainer, I guess give me advice or train me or something like that, and just having a blast in the gym with them. So we'll see how that goes, but I've been working on that as well. I do need to get out and take some more walks though, in all honesty. But yeah, so that's why content's been kind of sparse lately. Hopefully we'll be coming back with some more stuff pretty soon. I know this is kind of a weird one-off video as well, but I wanted to show you guys some of the stuff, some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that I'm doing in preparation for Anime North, some of the things I've been working on. And, you know, that's about it. Definitely be sure to let me know if you are interested in seeing the Anime North content. If you're going to Anime North, I'd love to hear about it. And also, if you want to see any particular content on this channel, be sure to let me know what you want in the comment section down below. I know I've promised a lot of videos over the past couple years. Some stuff I have not gotten back to, and I do want to. I would like to do at least one Echoes video in early May, specifically for the 2nd anniversary of Fire Emblem Echoes. I think that would be pretty cool, but that is swiftly approaching, so we'll see how that goes. But I think that May is going to be a pretty hugely busy month for me, so I can't make any guarantees there, but I'll try my best. I do want to update the Patreon and do a whole bunch of other stuff like that, so I'm just hoping and praying that some of this side stuff tones down a little bit in the next while, and I can get back to making content at a more normal pace. But thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this strange one-off episode. Hope you liked the sort of behind-the-scenes feel of it. If you did, be sure to let me know. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned for future content, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you.